Hi everyone and welcome to our channel. Today we are going to see the previous questions related to Python. This is a question related to exception handling. You need to trace the code just like an interpreter. See, the code tracing will start from here. First, list 1 is having 5 elements, 2, 4, a string 6 and 2 and 8. Now list 2 equal to function of list 1 comma 4, which means we are calling a function now, which means the control will go here with list 1 values as copied to this and index equal to 4. Now observe output list equal to 0 into length of input list, which is nothing but output list will contain 5 zeros because output list is multiplied, 0 is multiplied with the length of input list is 5, right? So 5 zeros we will have in output list. Now observe output list of index is nothing but these are the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Output list of 4 equal to input list of 4. Input list of 4 is what? These are indexes of input list. Input list of 4 is 8. 8 divided by input list of index plus 1. 4 plus 1 is what? 5, which means we are going out of bound. In that case, we will get a error as index error, right? Now check, is there any except block to handle that error? This won't handle, this won't handle. So finally, we will get end of the function will be printed, and inside the method, the exception is not handled. So that exception will be propagated to the caller. The function caller will take the responsibility to handle that exception now. Is there any index error? This won't handle. Yes, it handles. Invalid index. And finally, end of the program. So the output will be end of the function, invalid index, and end of the program. Now see the next question. This is related to the custom exception handling. See, the code trace will start from here. We are taking an empty list and we are calling a function on the empty list. And so the control will go here. Now check, try if length of input list equal 0. Now the input list is empty list, right? So the length of input list will be 0. In that case, we are raising an error, empty list error. See, the empty list error is a custom exception. Now observe, is there any except block or not? Yes, except block, empty list error. So the output will be provided empty list is a message we will get, and here the exception is handled, right? So no need to handle one more time, and final block will be executed. So the output will be provided the empty list and end of the program. Now see this, what is the total number of paths here is nothing but, see, if this condition is satisfied, you will reach to the path 1. If this condition is satisfied, you will reach to path 2. If this condition is satisfied, you will reach to path 3. If this condition is satisfied, you reach 4. If all the above 4 conditions are failed, then in that case you will reach the path 5. So overall we are having 5 paths in this code. Now observe this one. You need to perform the boundary value analysis. We know that boundary value analysis is nothing but checking the code whether it performs well at boundaries or not. In order to check that, you need to take a value before the condition and a value after the condition. So the values will be 0, 1, 1 after it is nothing but 2. Similarly for this 50, 1 before it is 49, 1 50 and 1 after it is nothing but 51. So the total number of values we are needed are 6. Now observe this. This is based on recursive functions concept. Observe, I am calling a function. Let the function be f of 5 I am calling. Now check here. Is 5 equal to 1? No. In that case, I am recursively calling again. N into f of n minus 1 is nothing but f of 4. Now again, is 4 equal to 1? No. In that case, 4 into f of n minus 1, 4 into f of 3 you will get here. Now again, f of 3 is nothing but 2 into f of 1. No, 3 into f of 2, right? N into f of n minus 1. Now for this f of 2, 2 into f of 1, right? Now observe, when n equal to 1, you will return 1, so that you will return 1 here. Now 2 into 1, 2. This result will be returned here. 3 2s, 6. This will be here. 4 6, 24. And this 24 will be returned to here. 5 24s, 120. And this 120 is returned to here. So as a result, you will get 120 as a final output. This is all about recursive functions, where a big task is divided into similar smaller tasks, solved, and the results were combined. Okay. Now see this example. This is related to exception handling, built-in exception handling. See, this code will be executed first. Print 1 by 0, which means you will get an exception called 0 division exception. So is there any except block? Yes, exception block is provided. So this will be printed. Some exception got raised. Now this exception is handled, right? So no need to handle again. And final block will be executed, closing the resources and end of the program. Output will be some exceptions raised, closing the resources and end of program. Observe, if you write the except block before this exception, you will get error because the default except block should be at last in the code. So this code will run fine. And observe this. This is also based on recursive functions. Observe, I am calling a function f on two variables 9 comma 21. This will be copied into a comma b variables here. Check whether b equal to 0. No. In that case, what you are going to do? B comma a modulo b. B comma a mod b. 9 mod 21 will be 9. Now again, is b equal to 0? No. Again, b comma a modulo b. 21 mod 9. 9 2 is 18. So remainder will be what? 3. Now again, is b equal to 0? No. In that case, GCD of b comma a modulo b. 9 mod 3. 0. Now it will be 0, right? So in that case, you will return a. So the GCD of 9 comma 21 will be 3. In this way, you need to trace the recursive functions. See this. This is based on reference variables concept. Now observe, this is the class table and this is the constructor. In this line, we are creating a table object. Table object is created and D is a variable referring to it. Similarly, in the next line, line 2, we are creating one more table object with B as referring to it. Now F equal to D, with me F equal to B, which means F is pointing to the object where B is initially pointing. So this will be the pictorial representation. B equal to D, which means now B will change its pointing to the first object. Now observe how many references for object 1. There are 2 references, D and B. How many references for object 2? There is only one reference, that is F. Okay. So the output will be 2 comma 1. Here you need to observe a point that whenever you assign references, no new objects will be created. Only just the references will be reassigned. Now observe this. This is based on functions concept. Which function signature need to be placed in line 1 so that this code will execute fine? Means this should match with the function definition. Okay. Brown will be stored here. Okay. Fluffy and Snow will be stored here. Now there's a problem with this, right? So this will be not our option. Now color brown will be stored here. Inside this variable Fluffy will be stored. There is no variable to store Snow. So this is also wrong option. See, color comma star names. Brown will be stored into this variable. Fluffy and Snow will be stored into this variable because it is a variable length argument. So it is a correct option. And see, brown will be stored here. Fluffy will be stored here. Snow will be stored here. So this is also right option. These two are the right options. So you can replace here and your code will execute fine. Now observe one more thing. This is also based on functions concept. See, df info, this is the 3 parameters we are passing. Now the function call which executes or which matches to this function definition is, observe here, John will be copied here, 350 will be copied here, will be overridden here. Okay, and similarly 21 marks will be copied, so this is correct. Info of John, okay, this is the default argument. If you won't specify any value, no problem, 100 will be kept as it is. And star marks, there are no arguments here, so this will be an empty tuple. This will also be a correct option. Now John will be copied here, 100 will be copied to here, overridden here, 21 comma 46 will be copied to this tuple. So this is also correct, which means option D, all the options are correct. Here you need to remember about the default arguments and the variable length arguments concept. Now see this is related to private variables, which means inside a class, if any variable is starting with underscore underscore, it is a private variable. Okay, to access that private variable outside of the class, you need to use getter and setter methods. If you use directly, if you access directly, you won't get the value, you get error. Okay, observe this. Here the price is the private variable, right? Now car1 dot underscore underscore price, this is wrong because it is a private variable, you can't access directly. Print of underscore underscore price, this is not at all correct because this is not matching to our criteria, because we need to use the car1, right? There is no car1 here. Similarly, print car1 dot get price, this is correct because car1 dot get price, which means this method will be invoked. This is the getter method for this private attribute, and you will get the price of it. Okay, now observe here, this is based on inheritance concept and overriding concept. See, child equal to child object, which means for a child object the reference variable is a child. Okay, and child dot property, check whether there is a property method present in child class or not. No. Now let's look into the parent. Yes, you found it, so you will get the details as a parent's property details. Child dot marriage, yes, you got the method, so this will be executed. So the output will be, first whenever you create the object, child constructor will be invoked. This is the first line of output. Child dot property, there is no method property in child. So look into the parent class. Yes, you found this. This will be the second line of output, and this will be the third line of output. Observe here, the same method, right? This is called overriding concept. When child is not happy with the definition of parent, it can redefine the method. Okay, now let's look the next example. This is related to abstract classes and abstract method. The rule is that whenever whatever the abstract method present in a class, its subclass need to provide the body to that. Now observe, this is the class product. It is having abstract methods, two abstract methods and one concrete method. Okay, this is a class mobile, is a subclass, right? It should provide the body for these two methods, but it is providing only for one method. Now mobile, it is providing for the second method. Observe, abstract methods cannot be instantiated, which means we can't create objects for the abstract classes. Reference 1 equal to product, this is gives error because this is an abstract class, right? Reference 2 equal to mobile, this is also error because it is providing the body for only one method. All the abstract methods were not covered in this scenario. This will execute fine because here it providing the method for abstract method 2. Okay, and its parent is providing for abstract method 1. Okay, and this is a normal method. So as you can observe, this is a concrete class, this is an abstract class, this is an abstract class, this is the concrete class. So we can create object for the concrete class. Line 3 will give no error. Now observe the last example. Here it is based on static, local and instance variables concept. Observe, the variables declared at class level are called as static variables. These are static variables. Similarly, variables declared inside the constructor, these are called as instance variables. And local variables are the variables used within a block or method. This is a block, right? These are the variables used within the block. These are local variables. Now first I am creating the object car1. Car1 is the object, and here counter value is a static variable, right? The counter value is 100. Whenever I created the object, it got incremented to 101. And see, the model is Ford and the number of doors is 4. For the second one, The car 2 is the object and it is having the porch as the model and the 2 doors. Now, whenever I created the second object, the counter value will be incremented. Static variables are common to all the objects. These are shared among all the objects, but instance variables are very specific to each and every object. Observe here, number of static variables are what? 2, right? Number of local variables, 2. Number of instance variables here is 3. The counter value is 1 not 2. In this way, you need to trace the codes related to OOPS concept. This is all about today's session. Please practice all those examples. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe.